This is an important conversation to have. You know, let's face it, very unique times and overwhelming times that we're living in right now. We have a pandemic, also the racial injustice movement. There's a lot to keep track of and wrap your mind around. So that's coming from an adult, and I'm sure you feel that same way. It's hard. But for kids and teens, trying to understand it can be even harder. Trying to find your voice can seem near impossible to figure out. So right now on our show, we are joined by Educator Dr. Kerry Dixon, aka Dr. Mom. So happy to have you here, Dr. Dixon. She's joining us to help us try to have good conversations and be supportive of everything that's happening in our society over the past 2 weeks. I want to start with the Black Lives Matter protesting and the movement that's happening right now, Dr. Dixon. What is it exactly that we need to be talking about with our kids? At times it can feel uncomfortable. So what's the best route to make this happen?
We need to support them. We have to show them that we understand and do more listening than talking. Oftentimes what adults like to do is let you know how they feel, let you know what's going on from their perspective. But our perspective is a long time ago. Our perspective is not relevant to them. So be a listener, but support what they're doing. Hear the why and try to understand the why instead of trying to correct. We do too much correcting.
And, you know, one thing that comes to mind for me is that if you're having these conversations and you may not be as educated yourself as you should be, which is okay to admit, when you start to feel uncomfortable, how important is it to, rather than dodge the question or change the conversation, that you rather take that moment to learn yourself and then find the answer and relay that to your child? You know, how much educating of ourselves do we need to be doing?
Well, first of all, we also need to let them know that we don't know. It's important to let them know that we're learning right along with them. There are some things that they're trying to figure out, but while they're trying to figure out, there's research, there's study, there's times that you can get out there and do things with them. The support doesn't just mean support them. The support might also mean to learn, to grow, to read, to know, and let them know, hey, I don't know much about that. Let's do this together. Then you're creating a bond of learning.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I want to ask you, especially as a Black woman and a Black educator trying to help people find their voice during this movement, what are some model behaviors that we can do to help the younger generations not make the same mistakes we have? Or what are some things you're seeing happening right now that really give you hope?
Well, what I'm seeing is the array of people that are trying to protest and trying to let everyone know what needs to happen moving forward. Protest are one thing. You protest in an order. You protest, you vote, you become aware of what's going on. So as an adult, as the parent, as the educator, then we need to model those behaviors by making sure that we are voting, that we're taking our young people to the polls with us, that we are making sure that we're doing everything we can to move forward, because it's what's next. What's next is always out there. So then what do? We have to do it and do things as opposed to just talking about it. That's what's important, is making sure they know, because they're watching us. They're watching everything we do, and they're doing as we do, as opposed to what we say.
Yeah, I'm sure most parents would say the kids are always watching, even when you don't realize it. So it is more important than ever to model that good behavior and be an example to them. And, you know, with Black Lives Matter, that, of course, has been taking up so much of our energy and our thought space. But something else that I want to ask you about is the coronavirus pandemic, because that, too, can be tough to talk about with kids. Not only is the discussion tough, but it's kind of scary that we're telling our children that we have to wear face masks. We have to totally change how we act in public. What's the best route when it comes to making that more normal, or, you know, easier to live life in such a strange way?
Well, Joe, I'll tell you what, some people remember when we didn't wear seatbelts. Okay, I'm gonna be very candid.
Yeah.
When seatbelts were just something, you got in the car, 3 people sat up front, 5, 6 in the back, and it was no big deal. We made that a norm. That was a safety. That was a precaution. We have to work on making the mask a norm. So, and follow what the scientists are saying. The scientists are saying, and the research is showing, that wearing the mask, it's preventing the spread of COVID. And it's not just about you and not about us. It's about making sure that we are our brother's keeper, that we're taking care of other people, that we're wearing those masks to make sure that we don't get anyone else sick. That's really important. And this is a great moment to teach people to come outside of themselves and to think about other people. And those masks, I mean, there are all kinds of great masks out there that are like fashion accessories. Make it fun. It's not, I mean, seriously, make it fun. Don't make it a drudgery to have to wear a mask. But again, they're following what we do. And we always tell students and young people to do what you're supposed to do. Take care of other people. Let's make sure we follow the rules and regulations. However, we have adults, older adults, not following the rules and regulations, almost in its own protest, and we can't do that.
I love making it fun. Yeah, that is a much better route. And we just showed a picture up there, Dr. Dixon, of Negro League's baseball museum masks. So that's a great way to tie in the two together and show your support for both. So definitely some great advice from you. We appreciate you talking with us here on this Thursday morning. And we could sit here all day and chat. There's so many questions to ask you. So hopefully we'll have you on again. But have a good rest of your day.